Hi, everybody. This is another attempt to use the new YouTube live feature. And what better occasion than on the cusp of my talk with Tree of Logic, who is a friend of another YouTuber who I talk to frequently, Anthony Brian Logan, and who herself has a pretty interesting channel. And the topic, and how not, is the great philosophy of Farrakhan feminism, which I'm sure all of you are so eager to hear more about. Now, in all seriousness, I do know that Tree of Logic is rather skeptical of the very relevance of Farrakhan feminism to what I am trying to do in terms of my channel and in terms of changing minds. But I think if you read through all of my material under the Farrakhan feminism hashtag, and I'm putting it in the chat, and it will be in the description later when you look up this video, you will see that the whole problem here is that feminism has been hijacked by a bunch of frauds, by a bunch of fake morons who have latched on to their latest cause. It's not their first cause, and it's not going to be their last cause. Linda Sarsour, Tamika Mallory. I got my friend Roman in the chat. Thanks for finally being in one of the live chats. Haven't talked to you for a while, but look, you have people. Tamika Mallory was an organizer for Al Sharpton, and was an Obama administration aide with, well, more precisely with Vice President Joe Biden. And recently, Valerie Jarrett claimed that her horrible association with a person who's so contrary to the ideals of feminism, like Louis Farrakhan, she claimed it was due to youthful indiscretion. But Tamika Mallory's 37 years old. That makes her older than me, older than anybody who's watching right now, I'm sure. Actually, I do have some old listeners, so no offense to you guys, but Tamika Mallory's judgment should not be seen in the prism of youth. This is a woman who purports to be a representative of not just feminism, but Black feminism. And the reason Black feminism is so important, or womanism as it's called sometimes in the fake progressive language, is because the original organizers of the Women's March, people like Bob Bland, believed that it would be unsightly for the march to be led only by a bunch of middle-aged or 30-something white women with yoga mats and stupid costumes that look like their underparts. So they got people like Tamika Mallory and Linda Sarsour to be the face of the movement, and it was a symbiotic relationship. You have millions of white women who feel this retarded guilt over something they never did, but they feel that they need to bare their soul to show. It's almost like some sort of catharsis, some sort of penance that they do for some sort of sin that they didn't commit. The only sin that they're committing is the sin of pride, I guess, if you're a religious person. Not all of you are religious. So essentially, they got Mallory and Linda Sarsour and Carmen Perez to be the face of this movement called the Women's March. I think I'm leaving somebody out, but who the fuck cares, honestly? It's their job to be inclusive. In any case, so they got them to be the face of the Women's March. And in so doing, they gave over their organization to a bunch of frauds. Linda Sarsour, a former leader of an Arab American group, how could she not renounce somebody like Tamika Mallory and Louis Farrakhan after finding out that Louis Farrakhan thinks that Palestinian Arabs are grafted from the black man by a mad scientist thousands of years ago? That's literally what she believes. Somebody in the chat says, this is Dave from Iowa. He says, is it because she's an idiot? That has nothing to do with it. It's all self-interest. It's all self-interest. And that's what people have to understand, that this is about the lie of solidarity between all of these intersectional causes, the Latinos, or the Latin X's, as you now have to call them, and the trans people. That's why you can't wear a stupid pussy hat anymore. And then let's not forget the Muslims, right? Because it's now feminist to wear a hijab. And then how about all of the disabled people? So that's the point of the Women's March. They're like the new Rainbow Coalition. The original Rainbow Coalition was what are the colors of the rainbow? Whatever, the color green. That's the color that Jesse Jackson loves. The color green, the color of money. That's the same thing with the Women's March. It's all a fraud, and the fraud has to be exposed, and it can be exposed through the statements and rhetoric of Louis Farrakhan and the refusal of Tamika Mallory, who is the face of the movement, the face that's promoted by the movement. It must be revealed by you, by the viewer, and by me. And that's why I keep doing this. I don't care how many people think it's irrelevant. I respect Tree of Logic, but I don't care if she thinks it's irrelevant. What's going on here is that, people are focusing on the anti-Semitism angle. And anti-Semitism, yes, could you say it's wrong? Sure, but the fact of the matter is people don't care about it. What we have to do is figure out what is it that Louis Farrakhan says, and there's such a wealth of options to choose from, that will make people realize that it's not feminism. You can't be a feminist and be a supporter of Louis Farrakhan. Is it the fact that he says that the black woman's mouth is a snake pit? Is it the fact that he said that the black community should appropriate the shops of Koreans and Arab Americans? Is it the fact that he said that the original people of the Americas were blacks, that the original people of Mecca were the blacks? Is it the fact that he basically has his own, spoken word version of Scientology with a 66 trillion year history of the world? Is it that fact? Because technically it's the March of Science as well. So please tune in 9:30 on Tree of Logic's channel. I will send you I'll put the link in the description once the video is done. Tune in and represent for the leopard, and tell Tree that the idea is that everybody has something to realize from this. The anti-Semitism angle, yes, she might actually have a problem with it. I know Tree of Logic has a lot of opinions on that. But for some people, it doesn't matter. For some people, they'll rationalize it. A lot of Jews rationalize it. I'd like to see a Jew rationalize Louis Farrakhan's statement that a black woman's mouth is like a snake pit. That's where the point goes. So please join me. I was trying to keep this video short, and it's already too long. And I will see you 9:30 on not Louis Farrakhan's channel, on Tree of Logic's channel. Have a great evening if you don't see me then.